Victor.
Ah,
Duvo.
all
That's
right.
who I
So
was
here
saying
we are.
yesterday that you had your hand
Um,
up, and I see you in here all the time. But then by the time I went to call on you yesterday, you couldn't find you anymore.
Guys, make sure your mics are muted. If you're not speaking, just mute your mic. Double check your mics so that everything is straight, so we don't have no echoes and stuff like that.
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, the thing with yeah, we can hear
All
you.
right, cool.
Yo,
The
Juver,
thing
what
with
up, bro?
What up, man?
Yo, shout out to you, bro. Yo, good looking out, man. Just for taking the time and just get being open just to hear about just the community in general, like off the rip.
Yeah,
Like you the
definitely.
man for that, bro. Real talk.
Appreciate it.
Mhm.
It's a great project, man. I love the project personally. I don't know if you watch my videos, but I always be talking about drip. I love drip. I love the vision behind it. I love the tokenomics. I personally think it's just genius at this point.
Thank you.
Um, so yeah. So y'all ready to start?
Yeah, we're ready to go live for sure.
All right, bet. So everybody, we are back again with the genius man himself, Mr. Forex Shark, the creator and developer of Drip, the Mana Farm, and the Animal Farm that is about to be coming out very soon. We're here. We're going to do a live AMA. I've personally never done. I think the first AMA I did, I think the first AMA I did was with Forex around a week and a half ago or 2 weeks ago. And that turned out pretty good. And they have a new project coming out soon that I'm very excited about. And they gave me the opportunity to come through here and come ask them any questions completely live. So we're just going to come here, ask them a bunch of questions. A bunch of you guys have asked me some simple questions and more complex questions as well. Just kind of getting an overview on how the animal farm is going to work, how you're going to be able to make money on it, and really the next steps on how you can get started in it. So that's basically what we're going to be going through. We have Mr. Forex Shark on the call himself. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm very happy to be here. I'm excited to talk to your community and your viewer base. You've been going on YouTube for a long time now. I think that you showed a lot of foresight to create your crypto and DeFi channel. You know, DeFi is the future,
Uh-huh.
and you were on YouTube early, and now you're in the DeFi crypto game early. So, you have a lot of vision, and I know your viewers must as well if they're here with you. So, I'm very happy to speak with them and to talk to them about a major opportunity that we have available right now.
Definitely. So I guess starting off, we can go through just a quick overview of what exactly is the animal farm. What is the mana farm and what is the animal farm? Just to kind of give people an overview of what it is.
Okay, so the Manor Farm was a 14-day run that we created to incentivize a capital raise, and it was in the form of a yield farm, which we've raised tens of millions of dollars in the form of BUSD. And now that capital gets migrated over to the animal farm, which is the next layer of this. And the animal farm is the first decentralized ownership yield farm and lending protocol. So what that means is the participants of the yield farm and of the lending protocol get all the benefits of being the owner of the network. And this has never been done before. And if you look at any of the major first mover products that have been launched in DeFi and in crypto, the developers and the owners of them make tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, billions of dollars in some cases. And they make this capital not through selling their tokens, but they make it through platform fees, taxes, and other associated deposit fees on the system. And we're giving this same power of being able to earn from the system without needing to give up your share of the system to the members of the community and to the participants. This is the first time it's being done. We're doing it with a lot of major new functionality and utility that isn't available in crypto or in DeFi. And because of this, it sets us apart and gives us that first mover advantage in the space, which we know brings a ton of capital and a ton of buying and financial power to the owners, which in this case will be the participants.
So you kind of mentioned something in the beginning, how the mana farm is kind of the first part of the animal farm. So could you say, just in simple
Yeah.
terms, the animal farm is kind of just like a build up for the mana farm? You said it was a 14-day kind of protocol that only lasted to really build capital for the next protocol. And of course, if you were in the mana farm, if anybody was in the mana farm, you were making some pretty good money, and it was being converted into Rev, which I'm going to let him go
Yeah.
into explaining Rev and all of that and how you're supposed to use Rev, because after, in I believe a couple more or less than 24 hours, Rev will kind of be useless as far as a use case, because Rev was only made to be used to get inside the pre-sale for the animal farm, right?
Well, Rev will be taken off the market essentially.
Uh-huh.
All of the value associated with Rev and all of that Rev will be swapped, or it will be contributed for the pre-sale token for layer 2, which is the animal farm. So the reason why it's called the mana farm and the animal farm is because we went off the theming of the George Orwell book, the Animal Farm. And in this book, the first part of the book, the animals on the farm realized that they were getting their labor and their capital exploited. So they took it upon themselves to have a revolution on the farm and take control of the ownership of the farm. And when they did, they had a sense of ownership, a sense of pride, and their production rate went way up. And things completely turned around for them. They didn't have this abuser that was at the top of the game, exploiting all of their capital. And the way that I see the current yield farm model, and even the lending model, are I see it exploitative. So the way it typically goes is an owner will create a protocol which is typically a copy of the past 10,000 farms that have been out there. There's been very little innovation in the yield farm space. They have people send them a bunch of capital that is worth a lot of money and has true value on the market, and then they infinitely inflate and print out a reward token for them,
Mm-hmm.
which which devalues itself
It's kind
by
of putting yourself
nature.
out of. It's like putting themselves out of business technically.
Yeah, they're taking a token that has long term value and exchanging it for a highly inflationary asset, and then the deposit fees and the platform fees and all associated taxes go to the developer, so they end up with all of the capital that has a proven long term value, and the participants of the farm end up with a devalued, a highly inflationary asset.
Uh-huh.
So this is the current model in yield farming, and we wanted to address this problem because yield farming is the number one highest demand utility and most used use case in DeFi. So there's that demand there for it, just like, or even more so, there was a demand for daily ROI platforms, but there was no high performing, sustainable daily ROI platform. So we saw that issue in the space and we tackled it with Drip to create the first high performing,
Daily.
sustainable daily ROI protocol. We took the same motivation and we went at the number one utility and the number one use case product in DeFi, which is yield farming lending.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that it goes, and the reason why we chose the animal farm and the mana farm, is the mana farm is that first stage before the revolution where this capital was generated, and we generated tens of millions of dollars worth of BUSD, and people could earn Rev through farming it or buying it off the market. Now, the inflation of the Rev token has stopped. You can no longer earn it through farming, and the only way that you can earn it is through buying it off of PancakeSwap. In less than 24 hours, right? In 11 and a half hours, I mean, sorry, in 23 and a half hours, people can contribute their Rev token. The price that Rev is at when we open up the contribution, when we open up the pre-sale, is the price that will be respected for the contribution. So if Rev is at $500, for example, when we open up this pre-sale raise, everybody who contributes Rev into the system will get the will get
Equal amount.
well an equal amount plus a 20% bonus. So they will get 600 US dollars worth of dog and pig tokens in value. So when they contribute this rev, all of the BUSD value associated with that rev gets contained, and we're containing all of that built up demand and all that capital, and then using it in layer two in the animal farm to appreciate the price of the dog and pig token, which is the farm and the governance token of L2. And we're also paying out BUSD rewards to the stakers of the governance protocol. So currently, right now, we have tens of millions of dollars. 60% of that is going to pay out BUSD rewards to the governance stakers, which are the stakers of the pig token.
Okay.
And the other 40% go to buying and removing the dog and pig token off the market after listing and removing it from circulation. So
Okay.
yeah,
So just quick
so right,
question.
yeah,
Well, kind of
uh-huh.
just so to kind of make it as simple as possible. I just want to make sure I understand it completely, just in case anybody else has like, these same type of questions. So basically, the Mana Farm was made to build the funds to be able to allow the animal farm to operate. Is that correct?
Yeah. So in order to pass ownership of the farm to the participants, you needed a farm to pass over.
Uh huh.
So the Mana Farm was how we established the initial user base uh, to pass over ownership of the farm to, and also the animal farm pays out high yield in BUSD. In order to ensure that we could pay out high yield in BUSD from day one, we needed BUSD in a vault.
Got you.
So we raised tens of millions of dollars worth of BUSD, and immediately from the launch of the animal farm, people will be able to take their pig tokens that they get from contributing their rev and swapping their rev in, putting it into the animal farm governance pool, the pig pool, or we call it the pig pen, and earn BUSD from the second the farm launches. So the way it's going to go is people contribute their rev tomorrow at noon EST. They get a token called LP2, and this stand PL2. This stands for pre-sale L2, or pre-sale for the animal farm. This token represents an equal dollar amount of dog and pigs. When the animal farm goes live, we'll add initial liquidity to the animal farm, the dog and pig tokens. We'll open up the farm for staking, so people can put their dog and pig tokens into the vault and into the farm and pools, and their other non-core tokens, BUSD Link, BUSD Tether, and then a half an hour after this, the emissions start and the rewards start on the farm. So as
Mm-hmm.
soon as that liquidity is added to PancakeSwap, people will be able to take their PL2 token and swap it for dog and pigs on the Animal Farm website. It's the same as we did with the Animal Farm. So people who contributed to the Manor Farm presale, they got a token called PREV. This token, they got it for about $6 or $7, depending on if they were in the private or public sale. We launched the animal farm by adding liquidity to the Rev token. We opened up the farm for people to start staking, and we allowed people to swap their PREV for Rev tokens.
Mm-hmm.
A half an hour later, we started the emissions. The reason why we start the emissions a half an hour later is because it gives an opportunity for people to join the farms and join the pools. So when the emissions start, there isn't a unbalanced or unfair reward going to the first couple people that enter, right?
Uh-huh.
Because that opens up the door for some sort of insider manipulation, where people that know about it first get in first
Yeah.
and get a high reward. Starting the rewards a half an hour after launch allows for everybody to get in and everybody to get a fair and equally distributed reward distribution
Mm-hmm.
from the start.
So I have one question. So we got the part now. We understand what Animal Farm is, and the Mana Farm's part in that. You mentioned tomorrow at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right? That's when everything is kind of going to start.
That's when people can contribute their rev.
Yeah.
So we're having two raises, right? So on tomorrow, Thursday, 12 o'clock p.m., people can contribute their rev. When they contribute their rev, they're getting a 20% better exchange rate than any other pre-sale that's being offered. The following Tuesday, we're doing a BUSD raise. This BUSD raise is extremely limited. So we're only raising $1 million in this BUSD raise, and we're doing a private whitelisting in a handful of influencer groups that we work with to help spread the word and build up promotion for the animal farm, the same way we did with the Mana Farm and the same way we did with Drip. What this does is since there's a referral program on the animal farm, it allows for a handful of the most active people in these influencer groups that have tens of thousands of members to get in the project from the start. So then when it goes live, the most active people in those groups are now ready to start referring and teaching other people in these influencer groups about the project. And it has like a compounding effect that really, really helps with the promotion and the initial demand for the project at launch. So this initial BUSD raise is where the initial liquidity for the dog and pig tokens is coming from. So we're raising $1 million in BUSD. We're splitting it equally between dog and pigs. So there'll be 500 BUSD worth of liquidity on dogs and 500 liquidity worth of pigs at listing. Then what happens is all of that BUSD that we accumulated from the Mana Farm, from people contributing their rev, gets used to buy the dog and pig token after it lists to appreciate the price of the dog and pig token, and essentially we're capturing all that demand that has built up in the past 14 days for the animal farm, and then executing it on the market in a way that will appreciate the price. So the rev raise, people can contribute rev. There is no hard cap for them, and there is no limits to how much rev they can put into the animal farm pre-sale.
So
And the
somebody
reason
could
for
come in
this,
with $1 million, and this is like a pre-sale with no
yep,
limits.
they could buy $1 million worth of rev right now and put it into the contribution tomorrow to get into the animal farm pre-sale with $1 million right from the start. And people, there were so many people that came to me on the Mana Farm saying, "Yo, like I know there's a thousand limit or a $5,000 limit. Can we do something like a special influencer thing where I could put in 100K or I could put in 500K?" And I tell all of them no, because we didn't have a way for L1 to capture that demand, and you don't want to start a project with an inflated market cap and too large of a liquidity pool, because what that inhibits the ability to grow after listing, and you're essentially eating up the demand that otherwise would be buying at market when it goes live. The reason why we don't have a hard cap on the rev contribution is because all of that BUSD that is in the rev liquidity pool. So when people buy rev right now, they buy rev with WBNB or BUSD. They get the rev token, which they can contribute tomorrow into the L2 presale, and that BUSD is now in the liquidity pool. Right before we open up for the rev contribution, I will be removing all of that BUSD from the rev liquidity pool. It goes into a vault. Now this vault has captured all of that demand, all of that value from the people contributing rev to the L2 presale, to the Animal Farm presale. Now, all of that contained demand and built up capital isn't being added to the initial market cap and isn't being added to the initial liquidity pool. It's being used to buy the dog and pig token after launch. So it's not starting with a large market cap and a large liquidity pool. It's starting as a small cap gem and then we're executing all of that built up demand on the market, adding only to the buy side of the liquidity pool, which appreciates the price. So
Uh-huh.
essentially, we're taking all of that built up demand for the past 14 days and using it to appreciate the price of the dog and pig token at launch and pay out BUSD rewards to the stakers of the L2 protocol. So not only does it execute all of that built up demand on the market in a way that will appreciate the price. And this is going to have an effect on the price of dog and pigs like no one has ever seen in DeFi. It's designed to be the highest performing DeFi protocol for farming and lending. And then not only do we have all of this built in demand and built in buy pressure from the start, we've also removed all incentive to sell the dog and pig token. And the reason for that
That was
is
gonna be my next
because,
question. I was like, I don't see any
yeah,
reason anybody would even sell these tokens because you're getting paid out for staking pig. Yeah, for staking pig, um, you're getting paid out in BUSD, right? So you're not really getting paid out in pig, which would then make you have to sell pig to take profit,
yeah,
therefore creating sell
you
pressure.
get paid out. You get paid out in BUSD, and it's tens of millions of dollars already accumulated in BUSD rewards to be distributed in L2.
Mm.
So when you look at how major industry leaders and people that have true wealth earn their living and how they build their wealth, they don't do it through selling their equities and selling their assets.
They do it
What
through
they do,
dividends.
they accumulate their assets, they grow their net worth, they leverage their net worth through lending, and then they live off the dividends.
Yeah.
So we're bringing the same model for the first time to DeFi, but instead of this model only going to the owners of the protocol, it's going to the participants of the network, which is everybody who is involved in the animal farm. So the way that you earn pigs without adding additional capital to the system is by farming the pigs with the dog tokens. You get the dog tokens by either buying it off the market or by getting in one of the non-core farms or pools, like the BUSD pool, the BNB pool, the linked BUSD pool. One of these, all of these non-core farms and pools allow you to earn dogs.
Uh huh.
You can then take those dogs, pair them with WBNB or BUSD, and use it to earn pigs. And now these pigs represent your share ownership of the network. When you stake these pigs, depending on your share of the pig staking pool, it determines how much of the BUSD you get every single time someone does a deposit, every time someone does a transaction in dogs, every time there's a payout from the migration of the BUSD that's going over from L1 to L2. So it allows you to earn and live off the dividends as your net worth grows due to the appreciating price of the dog and pig tokens. And on top of this, we are the first protocol to combine lending and yield farming. And this is probably the most important aspect of this protocol because it's the first time that we're combining the two utilities or the two functions that create wealth for the truly wealthy, and that is both uh, leveraging your capital through lending and living off the dividends as your net worth grows.
Mm-hmm.
So how we introduce this lending protocol is through a rehypothecation contract, which essentially just means lending out collateral, a rehypothecation contract that lends all of the staked collateral on the animal farm to PancakeSwap. The reason why we chose PancakeSwap is because it's the lowest risk model on Binance Smart Chain for lending. And we'll earn between 30 and 40% APY on all of the staked capital on the farm, on the protocol, on top of the yield that is being generated in the farm through the payout of the dog and pig tokens, which is how you are accumulating and growing your share ownership of the platform. So because we added this rehypothecation contract, which is the first time a true lending protocol has been combined with yield farming, we are allowing the participants of the platform to get the same financial power as those who are the owners of industry. And when you look at projects in the past that have introduced a major innovation in the space and are a true first mover in DeFi, the owners of those protocols make tens, if not hundreds of billions of dollars. This same value that these owners have made in the past is now, instead of just going to the developers, is now going to the owners of the animal farm, which are the participants. It is the people who are staking the pig token.
It's like now we have a stake in the protocols themselves that are making all these money from these different fees. Correct? Yeah.
Exactly. So the way that it works is there's a 4% deposit fee on pools. There's a 6% deposit fee on there's a 4% deposit fee on farms. There's a 6% deposit fee on pools. 75% of this deposit fee goes towards or gets turned into BUSD and gets paid out to the stakers of the pig token as the owners of the platform. Now, the dog token has a tax protocol that allows it to become deflationary, and it has 3 different pieces of tokenomics. There's a 3% tax every time someone swaps the dog token. When someone uses, BUSD, for example, to buy the dog token, 3% of this BUSD gets sent to the vault that pays out the pig stakers. 3% of the transaction gets used to add liquidity. So this is 6% now. So the way that it adds liquidity is unlike any other protocol or tax system in crypto right now. If you look at how any of these other systems are adding liquidity to their liquidity pool through a tax, they do it by selling a portion of the token that's being swapped. For example, someone swaps dogs, 3% of that dogs is sold to create BUSD or BNB or whatever it is, and then that's paired with the dogs and added to the liquidity pool. This is what everybody else is doing. We didn't do it this way because I never build in sell pressure to our protocols and to our tokenomics. The way that we did it is truly innovative, where you heard me say that 75% of the deposit fees go towards the pig stakers. The other 25% go into a pool, which is used to pair the dogs with BUSD to add to the liquidity pool. So every time someone swaps dogs, 3% of the swap is sent to the pig stakers of BUSD. 3%, the other 3% is paired with USD that comes from the deposit fees and used to add liquidity to the dog token. And what it does is it locks up liquidity. It adds buy pressure every time someone swaps the dog token, because every time someone swaps the dog token, 3% more BUSD is added to the liquidity pool. And it's locking and decentralizing this liquidity, which adds more hardness and more security to the system and raises the price floor. So every time someone swaps a dog token, the price of the token, the potential price floor, is higher and higher and higher every single time it swaps it. Yeah. And now this is when anybody does any transaction. There's that 6% tax, right? 3 and 3. Now, if someone sells, there's an additional 3% tax only on selling, and additional 3% tax sends the dogs to a burn address, a 0x000 address. This is an address where the dogs get sent there and they're essentially destroyed. No one can ever withdraw.
So it's a deflationary asset. So every time it sells, it's burning tokens.
Yes, and people might be thinking, how could a farm reward token be deflationary, right? If it's creating an emission rate to pay out rewards, how could it be a truly deflationary asset? And the answer to that is Another one of our innovations, which is called the dynamic supply control algorithm. And this is an algorithm that we built, that we spent the last 6 months developing. And what it does is it looks at the current demand of the dog and pig tokens, and it looks at where the price of the dog and pig tokens are between all-time high and all-time low. And when the demand is at all-time high and the price is at all-time high, we have a 100% emission rate. So when I say a 100% emission rate, this value comes from a case study that we did where we looked at thousands of other yield farms and we looked at what their emissions rate were. And we found a few yield farms that, although they don't have nearly the same game theory and functionality and utility that we have, they're still able to have a stable price or an appreciated price even while they're emitting tokens. And that's because they just chose the perfect emission rate where it's more attractive to be a farmer, and you'll earn more as a farmer and a staker than as a holder and a trader. But the emission rate is not so great that it devalues the currency. So we looked at all of these other protocols and we chose a peg. So we chose a peg set emission rate where we now base our range of where of how much emissions we will emit from the farm as rewards. When the farm is when the dog and pig tokens are at all time high and the demand is at all time high, we set our emission rate 25% over this peg. This means that we're paying a greater APY and a greater reward than all the other sustainable yield farms out there. So we're paying a greater reward than them, while our token is all-time high, appreciating at all-time high. The demand is at all-time high. Now, if we have a wane in demand or a price correction, the dynamic supply control algorithm looks at the current demand and looks at where the price is between all-time high and all-time low. And if there's been more than a 25% correction, it then reduces this emission rate, which shrinks the supply of the dog and pig tokens, allowing the current demand for the dog and pig tokens to now cause price appreciation. Because the way that price is determined is looking at two factors, right? Supply and demand. And we use the supply control algorithm and the other factors in the system to control both the supply and the demand for the tokens to allow for price appreciation in any market conditions. So if the price of the dog and pig tokens corrects 25% or more, the emission rate then reduces to this pegged emission rate that we know is sustainable and we know is attractive for farmers to come in. The supply shrinks and now allows for price appreciation. The price goes back up to all-time highs, and now the emission rate increases back to 100% efficiency, and the APY increases. Now it becomes more attractive for those people that just bought in to put their dog and pig tokens in the farm and in the pools. Now, if the price was to do a greater than 25% correction, say a 50% correction, we will then go 25% under this peg, which now means that the emission rate is less than the amount of tokens that are being removed from circulation through the deflationary aspects of the token, both the buybacks, which are buying the tokens from the market and removing them from circulation, and the tax protocol associated with the dog token. So now the dog and pig token become deflationary assets that you can earn a high APY on that are also paying out rewards in BUSD. And there's nothing available in the space just with the base mechanics that we added. Yeah. But when you start to look at what happens if we have price depreciation and a weighted demand, it gets even that much more attractive for buyers. So essentially, our system has a way of adjusting to become more attractive to buyers when we have corrections in the price. And then when this when this demand increases due to the tokens becoming more attractive by becoming more deflationary, the wave of capital comes in, the demand increases. It allows for price appreciation at the given demand. When the price goes back up, the emission rate goes back up, and now it becomes more attractive for people to put those dog and pig tokens in the farm to earn additional APY. So we have all of these different protocols: the lending, the dynamic emission rate, the way that we're adding additional liquidity to the token through not baking in sell pressure, but by using the deposit fees to do that. And then, most importantly, the ability for participants in the system to increase their net worth by holding and earning a dividend while they're doing so they don't have to give up their share ownership of the platform and sell their assets to earn
profitable.
to earn a profit off the system while they're accumulating their net worth in the system, while they're accumulating their ownership of the system, and the value of the dog and pig tokens grow. They're earning a BUSD dividend, and they're earning they're leveraging their underlying assets that are staked in the system by lending it to PancakeSwap to earn an additional 30 to 40% APY. Now, this 30 to 40% APY that's being generated, it's being used to buy the dog and pig tokens off the market. So this is how this value is realized from the people in the farm, right? This is how this extra 30 to 40% APY is realized from the owners of the farm, because it's being used to appreciate the price of the dog and pig tokens. Now, the reason for this is because there's two ways that you can bring profit to a user of a DeFi protocol, and that's through APY and that's through price appreciation. And we always choose to focus on price appreciation above everything. And we've learned this lesson over time. I've been working in crypto since 2012. I started by creating payment portals for Bitcoin, working with several sports books way back in 2012. And I got into developing and advising ERC20 projects back 6 years ago. And I developed my own projects as a standalone dev a couple years ago. These are at all-time highs right now, still to this day. So we've learned many lessons over the years, and I learned that if you could create profit and you could create rewards for the members of a system and for a protocol, it's best to do it in price appreciation, because when you look at trending on DEX tools, when you look at top movers on CoinMarketCap, top movers on CoinGecko, you don't get on the top of these lists through a high APY. They're looking at price appreciation. And the biggest promotion you can get and the most hype you can create in a community is through price appreciation at all-time highs more than anything. So we choose to focus on price appreciation over everything because that gives us a ton of free promotion. And people can see this by the fact that the Animal Farm and Rev, specifically Rev, has been trending number one and in the top 5 on DEX tools for the past 2 weeks straight. And most projects, if you're a new project, you typically will start trending on DEX tools for maybe a day, maybe a couple hours, and then you're off the list. We've been trending on DEX tools every single day since launch, and we're the first people I've ever seen to be trending on DEX tools twice at the same time, right? Because we have a BNB pool and a BUSD pool, and for the past 5 days, we've had the BUSD pool trading at number 1 and the WBNB pool trading in the top 10 at the same time. So this is huge because everybody that goes on DEX tools, to look at the trading list sees, wait a minute, Rev's number 1 and Rev's number 10. Why does Rev have 2 spots? Most people can't get on DEX tools at all. Rev has 2 spots in the top 10. So this kind of promotion is essentially free promotion. And we get this free promotion by designing the protocol in the right way to exploit the mechanics of these analytic sites. And we've done this to an even greater extent on the animal farm than we have on the mana farm. So we've taken all of the same kinds of mechanics that are in the mana farm, and we've improved them in so much in an extreme way. And the reason why I said it is because we had the ability to pay out BUSD in the mana farm. There was a way to stake your rev to earn BUSD in the mana farm, but that initial BUSD came from the pre-sale. We took $500,000 from the initial pre-sale of the mana farm and put it in a vault to pay out BUSD to the rev stakers. It was $500,000 was paid out over the 14 days. In the animal farm, we're taking the tens of millions of dollars that has been captured through the Rev token, and we're using that to pay out the stakers of the pig token. So this is tens of millions of dollars instead of $500,000.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and on top of this, since we only raised the BUSD for the mana farm in the pre-sale and we had no way to sustain it, it was only that set amount that was paid over 14 days. With the animal farm, we have all of these different cash flows which are going to turn the tokens, all the tokens associated with the platform, into BUSD and going into this vault. So these tens of millions of dollars that we've accumulated through the Rev launch phase is nothing compared to the amount of BUSD we're going to raise through these cash flows on the L2 protocol, the animal farm. Mm-hmm. It's coming from every time someone swaps dogs. It's coming from every time someone deposits. It's coming from the migration of the tens of millions of dollars from L1, and it's coming from the 30 to 40% APY that we're generating on the back end through the lending protocol. And people might think 30 to 40% APY, that doesn't seem too high for crypto, but compare it to any other lending protocol. Look at what you could get for lending your crypto to Centrix or any of the other lending protocols. You're gonna get maybe 5% APY for Bitcoin, maybe 12% APY. Yeah, exactly. But we're taking advantage of our of all of the collateral in the system, and we're using a DeFi model to do the lending, which allows us to get a larger APY, and this APY is on hundreds, if not billions of dollars, right? Because you look at what our competitors have for an APY, and some of these protocols have billions of dollars in them. Now, we raised almost $1 million in just 14 days in our launch phase. We raised like $80 million at one point in our launch phase. Now, that was in the 14 days. Imagine what we're going to raise in our long-term project when the real mechanics come into play and we're not just in the launch phase, and all of the functionality of the system and all of the protocols of the animal farm come into play, right? We're going to have high hundreds, if not billions of dollars that we're earning 30 to 40% APY on, which is then used to appreciate the dog and pig tokens. So it's crazy. It's tens of millions of dollars of baked in buy pressure, consistently buying the dog and pig tokens, starting from day one, from the migration of all of the millions of BUSD being migrated over from L1 to L2, and then consistent and contained, and being done in a sustainable method by all of the other cash flows that we've created in the L2 model. Now, on top of this, the reason why the pig token is called a governance token is not just because you get the benefits from a financial aspect as an owner of the platform. You also get the benefits of having a vote in how we move forward with the protocol. And what I mean by this is, so if you look at other governance protocols, the way they do it is you get one vote per token you hold. And I didn't like this idea because I say someone shouldn't be able to buy a bunch of the tokens
And get all the votes.
2 minutes, 2 minutes before the vote and do all the votes. They need to have a stake in the protocol, right? So the way that we do it is there's a harvest lockup in L2, which means you have to wait a certain period after you deposit to harvest your rewards. It's not long, right? It's 24 hours for some, 4 hours for some. It's not long, but it ensures that you do have some sustained stake in the protocol, and you, in order to vote in our proposals, you need to have those pig tokens staked. You can't have just bought them 2 minutes ago and sell them 2 minutes after the vote, because people that don't have a stake in the protocol shouldn't be able to vote on the future of the protocol, right? And then the way that we handle our voting proposal system is not a crowd rule system. I don't believe in crowd rule. The reason for this is because when you have crowd rule in financial systems, and you see this in the current financial model in fiat, the people vote for whatever is going to give them the most upfront capital right away, short-term payoff. Yeah, whether it's sustainable for the system, whether it's positive for new capital coming in, whether it's positive for the people that are long-term members of the protocol, whether it makes sense technically or from a security standpoint. So the way that we're doing is we have a system where anybody can submit and vote on proposals. Then the proposals that make it past this phase go in front of the dev team. The dev team then looks and says, is this something that is sustainable? Is this something that's going to not only benefit the existing members, but new capital and attract new capital to come in? Does this make sense from a technical standpoint? And is this secure? And can we audit this and make sure that it truly makes sense from all perspectives? And if so, then the protocol goes in front of those who have a stake in the system, the ones that are staking pigs. And for every pig they have staked, it counts as a vote towards whether the proposal moves forward or not. Now, the proposals that will be presenting the community will not be proposals that replace L2, right? So L2 is designed to be a ongoing protocol that will have a very, very long life, and we see it going. There's no terminal point for L2, meaning there's no point where L2 has to stop. So because of this, we're going to take this first mover advantage that we have, because there's two ways you get a first mover advantage in crypto. You either are the first to launch a product on chain, or you innovate the existing model to such an extent that you're providing a utility that no other protocols in the space provide. And that's what we've done with the animal farm. So we're going to come in with this major first mover advantage, and then we're going to protect it through evolving, right? So the way that we evolve is through this protocol that allows for proposal voting and additional layers to be added to the system. Now, these layers will not replace L2, but they'll add more options and they'll add more opportunities to L2. And for example, of a proposal, and what we already know the first proposal will be, is a vault system. And layer 3 will be a vault system that will be added to the animal farm. And what this is it allows for partnerships to come in. So a partner can come in, they have to give a share of their total supply, a share of their total supply token, to be put in the vault to be used as rewards. And then when people pair and stake their token with one of our core tokens and put it in the vault, the people in the vault, the stakers, now earn our partner's token every block. So this is a way that our partners can get exposure to our community, get this huge co-promotion, get incentive for people to add liquidity to their token, and then we get more options to our platform, and these options don't pay out in our token. So it's a way for members of our community to earn more capital and have more opportunity and more options in the system without having to pay out in our token, which creates more dilution of the supply, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna take the top 3 best partners that apply for our partnership, and we're gonna go live with them at the same time. We're looking for this L3 to go live in March. So right from the start, we're gonna start off with 3 major partners on our platform, and it's gonna be huge because there's gonna be 3 large other projects out there co-promoting our platform all at the same time.
Yeah.
So that's going to be massive. And then it's going to make an opportunity for those that are participants in the system to earn these partners tokens as well. So that is huge, and that's another way that the holders of the dog and pig tokens can leverage their capital and earn dividends paid out in a token that are not the dog and pig token, so they can now take profit on these tokens without giving up their share ownership of the dog and pig tokens. And this is another model how those who are the owners of the system can earn profit through the dividends and through leveraging their capital without needing to sell their assets and sell their equities, right? So it's extremely bullish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And now let me just get to this pre-sale and this L2
Yeah,
migration.
let me just ask one quick question. Honestly, I'm listening to you. I don't know if you watched the show Money Heist, or if anybody that's listening or watch the show Money Heist. But the dude that's the professor in there, they call him the professor. He's like the mastermind behind all the different heists and stuff like that. I always said, you watch it, or have you seen it before?
Know about the show. I don't know about the show. I'm listening.
But yeah, so he's like the mastermind behind all the heists or whatever like that. And this man always has a plan B for every plan B's plan B. Just when you thought he was finna mess up, or just when you thought he was finna be caught, he ends up saying this is right where we wanted them, then they implement the plan or whatever. When I'm listening to Forex, this man sounds like he has a fix for every possible situation that could go wrong. I mean, we're gonna get into that a little bit later on in this little AMA. But one question I do kind of just want to clarify for a lot of people, because I know I had this question, and a lot of people also reached out and had this question as well. Kind of jumping back to how the whole pre-sale is going to work. So we have the Rev tokens, and
perfect.
When is the time when we're trying to swap our Rev tokens for the PLP, which is the liquidity token? Is the token going to be the same price for everybody? Is it first movers? Like, if someone gets in before you, is your $100 going to be worth less? Or is it all the same price? Like, do you want to be there right when it's going live? That's what I'm asking.
Perfect. This is what I was just about to go into. So this is perfect.
Mm-hmm.
So the way that it works is at the end of this 24-hour countdown, that if you go into the pinned comments of the Animal Farm, you will see it up there. It's not the last pinned, because the last pin was telling people to come into the voice chat. It's the one before that. You'll see a countdown. And as soon as we get out of this AMA, I'm going to put the countdown back up. But there's a 24-hour countdown going on right now. When this countdown hits 0, I will be removing all of the liquidity from the Rev pool on PancakeSwap. This captures all of this BUSD and sets the price using a snapshot, sets the price of the Rev token. So whatever the Rev token price is when I remove liquidity, this is the price that will be honored for the whole Rev contribution. So if the price of Rev is $500 when I remove liquidity, everybody that contributes their Rev into L2 is going to get a $500 worth of value in the dog and pig tokens, plus a 20% bonus. So that's $600 if the price is $500. So the reason why we're able to do this is because we've captured all of that value for the Rev token. So we know that we can lock the price in for Rev at this value because we have all of the BUSD to back that. Because we've removed it from the liquidity pool, and now that's in the vault. So we'll have the raise open all day, but it's only tomorrow. Tomorrow is the only day you'll be able to swap your Rev for the L2 pre-sale token. So we're gonna have it open for hours, right? It's not gonna be a quick thing, but it's gonna be only open for today. And the reason for that is because
tomorrow.
we need to move forward, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't want people procrastinating. We need to handle the raise and get it done. Now, when the liquidity is removed from the Rev token, this means that there's going to be almost no liquidity in there, right? There might be a couple $100 or whatever. So there's no incentive for anybody to be a liquidity provider right now. The reason for that is because you cannot use those LP tokens and farm Rev with it anymore. So everybody should be removing their liquidity from Rev. Right now, if you're providing liquidity for Rev, you still have full exposure to Rev, but you're not holding all Rev. You're in the LP token.
Yeah.
You should be removing your LP from the Dog and Pig token. You should be removing your LP token. You should be unpairing the Rev with BUSD and Rev and BNB and using that BUSD or BNB to buy Rev. This way, you still have full exposure to Rev, but in a way that allows you to get the maximal benefit of the presale, because now you're holding all of that Rev to go into the presale. And since everybody should have removed their liquidity, right, and there's no incentive to add liquidity, that means when I remove liquidity, it's going to remove basically all of the liquidity from the Rev token.
Yeah.
When this happens, right, the price that I remove liquidity at is the price that will be honored for the Rev contribution.
So the price of Rev is locked in. So with that also, with the PLP token, is that token just $10 no matter how many people buy it, or will the price of that also go up the more people buy it?
So this presale token, the Animal Farm presale token, cannot be traded on the market. So the value is locked in on that, and
just
it's
like
backed
Rev
by
after you screenshot it. Yeah. So the price of
just like the PREV.
Yeah.
So the difference is the value of the PREV token was backed by what we raised in the presale in the form of BUSD.
Gotcha.
The value of the L2 presale token is backed by the BUSD removed from the Rev liquidity pool. And that's what gives it its value, and it keeps its back value until we launch the Animal Farm. Now, there will most likely be some small amount of liquidity in the Rev liquidity pool after we remove, because there's going to be one person that has no clue what's going on.
Yeah.
They forgot to. So we're taking a snapshot after this liquidity is removed, or as the liquidity is removed, so we know everybody that was a Rev holder before the liquidity is removed, and Rev that is bought after this event, after the raise opens, will not be respected in the raise, right? So so what this does is it prevents people from buying super cheap Rev after the liquidity is removed. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because if all the BUSD is removed from the Rev liquidity pool, then you have super cheap Rev. But we're taking a snapshot as we remove liquidity, so those who have Rev before the liquidity is removed will get the price of their Rev respected at the price when the liquidity is removed.
Yeah.
Now, all of that BUSD that is removed from the Rev liquidity pool now goes to paying out these BUSD rewards to the pig stakers, and to appreciate the price of Dog and Pigs. So we're starting out the Dog and Pig token with a small liquidity pool and a small market cap, but it will appreciate in price like you've never seen before, because we have tens of millions of dollars
just
put aside to buy up the price as soon as it launches, and keep buying up that price for weeks after launch with that starting USD that we're migrating over. But while we're doing that, we have a ton of BUSD that's also being generated from L2 to keep these buybacks sustainable and keep the BUSD payout sustainable. And not only sustainable, we're gonna raise way more BUSD from the mechanics of L2 than we did from these 14 days in the Rev launch phase. Yeah, the Mana Farm phase.
So kind of another question, kind of moving forward down the line. So now we have our rev. We understand what we're supposed to be doing with our rev. Tomorrow we're supposed to trade in to get the PLP tokens. That's going to give us the access to be able to get the pre-sale dog token, the pre-sale pig token. So
Yep.
just to kind of clarify and just make sure I'm on the right page with everything, I'm sure a lot of people also have the same question or just want complete clarification. So the dog token is the governance. Well, the dog token is dog token is what you're gonna have to pair with BUSD or BNB to be able to
Yep.
get more pig token. Pig token is what you're going to be
Yep.
able to stake to therefore earn BUSD rewards. So you're not necessarily
Yep.
there's really no reason to sell either one of them. To get more pig tokens, which earns you the BUSD profits, you need to still hold that dog token and stake the dog token to get more pig token, which would then give you more BUSD, which technically means more money overall. Is that correct? Just like the two utilities of those two tokens?
So they have an equally important role both in the game theory of the system, but also from an investor standpoint as well. And this is because those who get in at launch and only buy the pig token, or those who get into the pre-sale and sell their dog tokens, for example, you can stake those pigs to start earning BUSD. But everybody that uses their pigs to stake in the governance pool to get their share ownership and then pairs their dogs with BUSD or BNB and starts earning pigs, they're going to quickly outpace you in the ownership of the platform.
Yeah.
So you'll have a stagnant pig position, which represents your share ownership, while everybody else is growing their share ownership. So you're going to want to do both. You're going to want to stake your pigs, which represents an immediate ownership of the platform, and you're going to want to farm with your dogs because that allows you to grow your share ownership of the platform. And we all know the vast majority of people will be doing that.
Yeah.
So if you're not doing that,
Then
you're going to be
missing
losing
out.
ground as far as ownership of the platform. And anybody who, for example, gets into the dog and pig token and thinks that they're going to sell it immediately at launch for some like 20% 20% arbitrage or something, it's not going to work like that. The reason why it's not going to work like that is because the initial liquidity that's added is relatively small, and all of that BUSD that's being migrated over is then being used to appreciate the price of the dog and pig tokens and is being paid out in BUSD. So if you think you're going to do an immediate arbitrage, you're shooting yourself in the foot. What you want to do is get into L2 knowing that you're getting in at the ground floor, and now allow for the BUSD buybacks to appreciate your dog and pig tokens in value while you're earning BUSD rewards. And you're going to quickly, most likely the same day, ROI on your dog and pig tokens, and then now have a massive head start on the the ownership of the platform and the dividends that you're earning. And now you have a large ownership of the platform that you can continue to earn on for the whole life of the project. And that's where the value is of being into the pre-sale, specifically with Rev, because if you get in with Rev, you're guaranteed a spot in the pre-sale. Now, if you look at how much capital is in the Manor Farm, and you look at how many participants are in the Manor Farm, and then you look at how much we're raising in BUSD next Tuesday, that will tell you that less than 1% of the people involved in the animal farm will be able to get into the BUSD raise. This is how limited the BUSD raise is. So the only way realistically that you're going to get into the L2 pre-sale and get in at the ground floor is to buy Rev and contribute your Rev tomorrow to the pre-sale. And you're given a bonus for doing this. You're getting 20% more Rev than those who get into the BUSD raise. So it's like a private sale where the people who contribute Rev are getting more value, plus they're getting a guaranteed spot. So that's where you want to be. Now, there's still a large incentive to get in with BUSD because when we do the BUSD raise, it's going to be after the Rev raise. So that's good. That's an opportunity for everybody that wasn't involved with Rev, wasn't involved with L1 to get in.
Yeah.
And also, there's a ton of groups that are begging me right now to give them some share of the whitelisting so they can get in with BUSD. Because even everybody that has a bunch of Rev, they still want to get in with BUSD because they just want to get as large of a position at launch as possible.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because look at every other pre-sale and launch I've ever had, right? Every single one I've ever had has done over 40x in the first week. So everybody that's looking back at back at the Mana Farm and saying, "Damn, I wish I got into the Mana Farm larger," right? Or damn, I wish I got into the Mana Farm pre-sale. Now is your opportunity to do it by contributing Rev, right? And you can contribute as much as you want. And the reason why you contribute as much as you want is because this initial value is not going into the market cap or the liquidity pool at launch. It's we're capturing that demand and then using it to appreciate the price after launch and to reward people for staking and holding the tokens and not selling them on the market. So we are limiting the BUSD raise. The reason why we're limiting the BUSD raise is because this is the capital that we're adding to the initial liquidity pool and the initial market cap, and we want to have that initial liquidity pool to be relatively small, and that starting market cap to be small, so it can grow, so it can have that huge pump at launch and get all the attention and get trending and have everybody going hype and doing the whole promotional thing.
Yeah.
So there's no other project that has had this kind of raise that has secured so much value that is put aside to immediately appreciate the price of the underlying assets and create so much incentive for people to not sell the tokens to secure their rewards in the form of a dividend. Now, another reason why you want to ensure that you're in the pre-sale is because when you look at all farms, the initial wave of TVL is always massive, right? You always get 50, 100 plus $1 million worth of locked capital in the first day. And there's always a huge spike in volume at launch from people trading the tokens as soon as it launches. When people deposit onto the animal farm, there's a 6% deposit fee on pools and a 4% deposit fee on farms. This fee is turned into BUSD and paid out to the pig stakers. And all that huge volume of dog, which is being traded at launch, that crazy huge volume, 3% of that is being turned into BUSD and sent to the pig stakers.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to be in the farm staked pre-launch. That way, when that huge wave of TVL comes in and that huge volume comes in, you're gonna get that BUSD payout. And the only way you're gonna be able to get in to these pools pre-launch and be ready for that is by getting in the pre-sale. This is the only way you're gonna have a significant position in dog and pigs at launch. So there is so much built up demand and so much incentive right now to buy the Rev token that it's really, if you are not buying Rev right now and holding it for the contribution phase, you are really doing a disservice to yourself, because you're limiting yourself to being the owner of a first mover protocol. And the first time this kind of financial position, this kind of financial power is being put in the hands of the position, or put into the hands of the participants of the protocol. Look at any kind of like major institution that launched, right? Look at Tesla, right? Look at how Elon makes his money. He doesn't make his money. I mean, first of all, look at where his capital is tied up. He's the richest man in the world, and he has almost all of his net worth in Tesla stock and in his other public companies, mostly in Tesla stock and in SpaceX. This is because the value of these assets are appreciating assets with strong fundamental value.
And he's just
He's
living
not
off the
going to sell
dividends.
his Tesla stock and he's not going to sell his position ownership when he can use this high net worth and leverage it in the form of lending to earn yield off of it and then live off the dividends of being a high stock owner, right? So this is how the super rich make their capital, and we're giving this to the participants in DeFi for the first time. It's the first time we've taken this traditional market, mechanic or traditional market opportunity that is only available to the industry leaders in these markets, and we're bringing it to DeFi for the first time. And not only is it available for the first time in DeFi, it's available for the first time in markets, period. And that's what DeFi is all about. It's about taking the power out of the hands of centralized institutions and
Putting it into
giving
the
it
people.
to the people.
Yeah.
And this is what we were doing. And we set out. So if people have been following Drip for the past 10 months, we've been looking for farms to partner with in order to incentivize people to add liquidity to Drip. And there were just no farms, no yield farms that were up to the standard that we felt were worth partnering with Drip. So for the past 10 months, I've been going over people's farms. I've been talking to these farm owners. I've been going over all of their mechanics, looking at what works, what doesn't work. And finally, about 6 months ago, I decided, we're just going to build it in house. We're going to use everything that we know does work. We're going to
And
put
make
it
it
all
up your own.
together. I'm going to use my decade of experience, and we're going to do it right. And whenever I do anything, it's with the intention of changing the game, right? Having that major first mover advantage. So yeah, we'll have clones, but when these clones come up, they're going to be talking about us.
Yeah.
And clones never last. Clones, they might last a month, they might last 2 months, but eventually they're going to fizzle out. And that whole time they were talking about us, bringing people to us, bringing attention to us. That's what's happening with Drip. So there's been clones of Drip. You see, they go nowhere, but Drip remains the standard for daily ROI protocols. And we continue to evolve with partnerships, which is going to be the next step for the animal farm through the vaults L3, and we're going to be doing that in March.
Got you. So I'm not gonna lie, this man is probably one of the smartest people I've ever seen in my time. He has first of all, I have to say this because people go think y'all paid me to do this video. I genuinely like the project. I'm actually excited. I put my own money into these different projects. Did you pay me to do this? You literally I think you messaged me last night and said we should do it, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll be down. But did you pay me for this?
No, so the way it worked is a couple weeks ago, Bartertown, you have some connection with Bartertown. He was like, hey, we should get on with Jupiter Gems. Let me hit him up, see if he wants to do it. He hit you up. I believe you were either interested or already invested in Drip. So you were like, yeah, let's do it. I'll tell my people about Drip. We had a great AMA. And I just thought, we have the major contribution going on tomorrow. The AMA with Drip went well. Let me reach out to him, see what we can do. And you were quick to respond. You're the value that you're providing your audience right now is amazing because they're getting a look into the project that's going to be changing DeFi forever, and they're only getting it here as far as like the size audience that you bring. Like you're giving exposure of this project to probably the largest audience it's seen so far, which is a major service to people. So everybody, I would say, subscribe to Juba because he's bringing value for sure.
Appreciate it, but that'd be the first thing that everybody wants to go to. Oh, they're paying him to do this, about it. I would, like you said, I was in Drip before I even knew of like Forex or any of that. I made a couple videos on Drip, and I think Bartertown hit me up, and then he asked me if I wanted to do the AMA with you for the first time, and I was like, yeah, that'd be dope. And then Forex hit me up yesterday to do this, and I was like, yeah, it'd be definitely dope because I put my own money into this project, the animal farm that's coming out as well. But kind of moving on. So now we have a clear understanding. Well, I hope everybody has a clear understanding or a clearer understanding of how it's all going to work. What was the purpose of the Mana Farm? How the Mana Farm was supposed to help the Animal Farm? What they're supposed to do when they buy the Rev token. If you haven't bought the Rev token yet, you can go and buy it on PancakeSwap. You can go to the Mana Farm, the Manor.farm, right? That's the website, right?
The Manor.farm and
Manor
the Animal
Farm.
Farm, when it's up, will be the Animal.farm.
All
So
right.
we're going to do the contribution for Rev on the Manor.farm because that's the website that everybody is
already
used
knows.
to
Yeah.
and already knows. But within the next 48 hours, we're going to put up the Animal Farm website. And we also have the Paladin audit for L2 taking place right now. So that will be made public as well very shortly. So we're doing it the same way we did with the Manor Farm. We had the initial private raise, which in this case the private raise is for Rev holders, and then before the platform goes live, we're going to produce our audit and the website and all of that. So the base mechanics, as far as we're still using a master chef contract, we're still using pools, we're still using similar underlying contracts to L1. So as far as a security perspective goes, it was a relatively simple audit because not because it's a simple project, but because we already did a very advanced audit on the on the Manor Farm. So and if you look at our Manor Farm audit, all right, you will almost never see a project that has literally no issues. So if you look at the Manor Farm, we have no high risk issues, clearly. We have no medium risk issues, and we don't even have any low risk issues. So what a low risk issue is an issue that can't affect the project because of the way they use their contracts. But if those contracts were put together in some other ways, then maybe it could be an issue. But we don't even have any low risk issues. So we went above and beyond as far as our security goes, and we got a top tier security audit from Paladin, and we're in the process of doing the same for the Animal Farm. So we have everything lined up as far as our marketing, as far as our security, as far as our raise, as far as the BUSD that we put aside, and the game theory is like no other. And for a marketing budget, so the way that we're getting our marketing budget is through this collateral rehypothecation. So all of the collateral that is staked on the Animal Farm is being lended to PancakeSwap to earn an additional 30 to 40% APY. 30% of that APY is going to buy the dog and pig tokens directly off the market, causing a consistent cash flow of buy pressure. 30% of it is going towards our marketing budget. And this will ensure that we have a consistent marketing budget to continue to do the kind of marketing and promotion that you see us doing every single day with the Manor Farm and the Animal Farm. And this is going to continue for the life of the project because we have the capital to do it. And people know that when I have capital, I respect people's capital and I put it to good use. I use it, but I don't throw it around, right? We use it and we use it effectively. The other 30% is going towards future development. So, for example, the L3, the vaults, we have to pay for audits for these things. We have to pay for the artwork to get it done. I have to pay my partner who helps me with the tech stuff. We pay, there's all kind of, we pay the hosting fees and the DDoS protection fees. There's all kinds of fees associated with running a platform.
Yeah.
It pays for that to make it self-sustaining, and then so that's 90%. The additional 10% is something very cool. So there's all these transactions that are going on, right? There's the transaction which is updating the emission rate based on the demand for the project using the dynamic supply control algorithm. There's the collateral rehypothecation, which is taking the collateral on the system, putting it in the PancakeSwap lending pool, and then withdrawing cake from the PancakeSwap lending pool, using it to buy the dog and pig tokens and sending it to a burn address. All of these extra transactions take gas. The way that we're paying for this gas, instead of putting it on the back of the users, so every time they do a swap or every time they do a deposit or withdrawal, they're paying these high gas fees, we're paying for it using 10% of the collateral that's earned on the back end that otherwise wouldn't be earned if we use the traditional yield farm model, right? So this is one of the major benefits of combining this lending protocol with the yield farm protocol that no one else has done before. So
That's crazy.
what this means is the gas costs are going to be lower than all the other yield farms you see in the space, and on top of this, they're sustainable. So if something happens to me, I get hit by a bus tomorrow, this is all automated. The 10% of those funds generated on the back end go to the wallet, which is paying for the gas for the system. So it's sustainable no matter what happens to me, and I don't have to be constantly funding this wallet. Use either out of raised funds or the gas of everybody that does a transaction. We're keeping the gas low through these additional innovations that we created. So we have like 5 or 6 major innovations that are built in game theory and built in logic that we know is beneficial, right? Creating deflation on the underlying assets are beneficial. Paying out in BUSD rewards, so those people can earn a dividend instead of selling their underlying assets, we know is beneficial. Allowing for the supply. So the reason why the supply control algorithm is so awesome and so innovative is because if you look at every other farm, they have a blind emission rate. They just mint tokens and they have an inflation rate that is consistent. So no matter what the price is, no matter what the demand for the token is, it's just blind and dumbly just minting out the same amount of tokens every block. And this causes depreciation in the price. And the price could be at all-time low, and it's still just inflating at the same rate. What we did is we set a peg that we knew would be sustainable, and then when prices at all-time high, demands at all-time high, we then do an emission rate that's 25% over this peg. And we know because of the extra mechanics and because of the decentralized nature that we have over these other platforms that have shown to be sustainable at 25% under this, that we can be sustainable at least 25% over this. So we have the same sustainability, plus more, plus we are paying out a higher APY and a greater reward than any of these other platforms out there because we're at least 25% higher. But we keep it within a range. It can go a max 50% lower this peg, 50% below this peg as far as emission rate, and a max 25% higher.
Love it.
So it can never be too high to cause price depreciation. It's always within a sustainable range, and it can never go too low so it's not attractive for people to get into the farms and into the pools. It's always going to be a rate that is more attractive for people to get into the farms and people into the pools rather than just being a holder. But it's never at such a rate where it's causing price depreciation, and it can adjust to allow price appreciation at any given demand. And we set up these different mechanics to put price appreciation above all, because that's how we exploit these analytics sites to get on the trending list and get all that free promotion.
Yeah. So
I just named like 4 of our innovations that make us different. We also have the fact that every time someone swaps dog, the way that it's adding liquidity is not by selling a portion of the dog tokens. It's by taking a 25% of the BUSD that was generated through deposit fees and pairing it with that, which is adding buy pressure every time someone does a swap of the dog token. It's adding buy pressure to the dog token while raising the price floor, while adding lock and decentralized liquidity, which hardens the price and adds a better security model. Right. We also have the governance protocol, which is only available to those that are stakers in the platform and have been stakers for a period of time. So it doesn't allow for whale or insider manipulation where people can just jump in and vote on it and get right out. Yeah. So, and then we have the multi-layer system, which allowed us to raise tens of millions of dollars worth of BUSD to make this BUSD dividend model work, because we needed to ensure that we had a large amount of BUSD rewards to pay out immediately at launch, so it gets right off the ground running, right? And that snowball effect can happen. Yeah. Another major innovation is the fact that we were able to put aside tens of millions of dollars to buy the dog and pig tokens off the market, so we could start at a low cap and a low liquidity pool, and then allow those people that were in the pre-sale and those people that buy at launch to realize that value and ROI within the first day, through price appreciation alone. And there are so many other dynamics that we have brought into the system that are innovative and are game changing and are going to give us a first mover advantage, but they're all based in solid logic and solid game theory that we know works. We know deflation works. We know dividend model works. We know having the correct emission rate given the demand allows for price appreciation. We know that price appreciation overall is what promotes the project and gives a ton of free promotion. And we are the first people to do this kind of launch phase where we have a 14-day launch period where we then capture tens of millions of dollars worth of demand, which is then used to support the second layer. So there are so many innovations in this project that guarantees us this first mover advantage in the space. And then I would say the most important innovation is just when you just take a step back and look at the big picture and what we're providing, right? That model, that wealth building model,
value.
that wealth building model that is built on increasing your net worth and increasing your shareholding of equity and the value of these equity, and not having to sell your equity in order to take profit. Because this is how the wealthy build wealth, is by generating and accumulating equities and generating and accumulating assets, and then living off of earning yield from them through leveraging it through lending protocols and through living off the dividends, which is exactly what we're providing for our community and our participants for the first time ever. Not just the first time in crypto, the first time ever this kind of financial power is being put in the hands of the community and the participants of the platform or of a platform.
That's absolutely amazing. So, honestly, he said a lot. I was gonna just do a recap of what he said, but I think nothing he said was that complicated. He said a lot of different points, a lot of valuable information. Like I said, I'm very bullish about the project. The project myself, I'm actually very excited for it to be fully launched, and everything like that.
Yeah.
Get my foot in the door. But I kind of just want to, if it's cool with you, Forex, I just want to kind of allow people to ask more questions, just like a little fast round. People can ask questions, and I guess you could answer them quickly, or if you want me to answer some, well, I can't. It's your project, so it's not for me to answer. But I don't know if you want to pick people from in the Telegram or people that's in the YouTube chat right now, because I know people are asking a couple questions in the YouTube chat right now. I guess I can start off. I see this question like 100 times already.
Let's go with YouTube.
YouTube. Okay, so if anybody wants
and
to,
then I'll get
I'll
get to the Telegram after, and if you want to wrap it up after the YouTube ones, or you want to stick around for the Telegram ones, whatever's good for you. But I want to get to the Telegram ones as well. But let's do YouTube first, since we're on YouTube.
All right, bet. So if anybody wants to get any questions, if you have any questions about the project overall, you can come over to my YouTube channel, Drew Veers Gems, and just hop in the live stream and type whatever question you might have inside the chat. But one question that I've seen a million times, and people ask this question about the Mana Farm, they ask the question about Animal Farm is coming out. Everybody, most people are kind of OG drip people. That's kind of like the one that, for me, a lot of people have seen. So they're in their head, they're thinking, okay, you're the creator of Drip. How is the Mana Farm, or how is the Animal Farm going to help Drip, push Drip forward?
Okay, so first, let me not talk about, and the reason why I held off on this is because I figured this question was going to be coming, and I didn't want to get, I didn't want to add more, than the base protocols of the system, because there's already so much information. But let me just say, first and foremost, we just onboarded over 25% more users to Drip in the past 15 days. Due to the attention that we brought to the community from the Mana Farm, through us being on Dex Tools, through all of our promotion on the different platforms and websites. So more than anything, I would say that we're creating a huge attention draw that are bringing in a ton of new users who then get exposed to Drip. Now, whenever I launch a new project, what happens is some of the attention is diverted from the existing projects, and you typically see those projects maybe remain stable for a while, or maybe even have a slight correction. But then once we get the ball rolling on the new protocol, the mechanics that the new protocol bring into the ecosystem that benefit Drip, which I'll get into, and all of the new users which are onboarded to the community then start to work their way into the other projects, and you start to see that capital bleeding into the other projects. And you see right now, while BUSD and the whole market is down, Drip's breaking above $80 again, and Drip's making another move towards all-time high. And this is because all of this attention we're bringing to the community.
It's also
now
going straight to Drip.
Yeah, and on top of this, the animal farm has 3 core farms. It has dog BUSD, it has dog BNB, and it has drip BUSD. The only farms that you can earn pigs from are these core farms. What this means is those who are drip liquidity providers and those who want to have exposure to drip can earn pigs as part of the core contract, and they're earning a high multiplier of pigs, which means they get a lot of pigs. And also, there's only a 1% deposit fee, where if you look at all the other farms, there's a 4% deposit fee. And if you look at the pools, there's a 6% deposit fee. So those who get into the those who get into the animal farm with drip get an advantage of being in a core pool or a core farm without the exposure of being in one of the core tokens. So it's another option, right? I'm not saying that it's a better or worse option, but it's another option.
It's there.
Yeah, and it gives people an opportunity to get exposure to drip while benefiting from the farm. So if anybody has USDT, or they have BUSD, or they have one of these farms, they'll be earning dogs. If they want to earn pigs, they need to get into dog BUSD, dog BB, or drip BUSD. Now, Drip has a major partnership that's coming next week. Next month. And this partnership is with BetFury, right? So BetFury is one of the largest, if not the largest, crypto casino in the space. They are building a game just for Drip that you can only play just with Drip on their platform. And it's going to be promoted on their website. It's going to be promoted to their community. And not only can you only play this game with Drip, all the other games on the platform you can play with Drip, and they'll pay you BetFury tokens for playing with Drip. So it's a huge co-promotion and a massive new utility for Drip. On top of this, we have another partnership with who I believe to be the most innovative NFT platform in crypto. And I don't want to say who they are yet, because the way that we're going to go about it is, this is a multi-million dollar company that does billions in volume. So they're going to put millions behind this promotion. We're going to be partnering with them and creating the first cross-chain NFT protocol that has utility both on the ERC20 network and the BSC network, on their platform through their metaverse, and on our platform through the Drip network. So this is another major partnership and another major utility that's going to be added to Drip in the next couple months. On top of this, there's a project called Current, which we've been working with, that manages licensing for a whole bunch of celebrities, and they've already secured the licensing deal for 14 A-list celebrities, and we're partnering with them to provide utility with Drip to their NFTs. So the way it will go is they're going to sell their NFTs in BUSD and in BNB. That BUSD and BNB gets used to buy Drip on the back end and stakes the Drip, and then for holding these NFTs, the people make a little bit of profit. They make a little bit of dividend on it. So it is going to be a public public co-promotion. But as far as most of the users of that platform go, as far as they're going to see it, they want to buy their celebrity NFT. They want to support their celebrity, or they want to make some sort of flip on the NFT or whatever they want to do. So most of them are going to be attracted from the celebrity aspect of it and from the short-term profit aspect. But on the back end, all of that capital is being used to buy and stake Drip. So that's another major partnership that is going to be taking place. That current one's going to be taking place very shortly in the next few weeks. So we have all of these major partnerships that are coming with Drip, and all of these partnerships that are available for Drip. You have to understand that Drip, being a daily ROI platform, we had a lot of gates that we needed to break down, and we're still breaking down gates because so many people messed up the game with these daily ROI platforms, having them being unsustainable and having them be like poor performing, that's the reason why we went after this model. We saw it as kind of the dark and dirty part of crypto that's a ton of demand for, but no one was doing it right. And we brought light to it, and we did it in a way that was sustainable and was higher performing. But because we were still a daily ROI platform, a lot of these major promotional projects and platforms and partnerships, they didn't want to have anything to do with it.
Yeah.
Now we're 10 months in. People see that we're number 2 on DApp radar as far as DeFi on BSC. People see that we're performing better than ever. We're growing faster than ever. And now they all want to be a part of it, and they all want to be partners now. So it was a hard sell to get partners for Drip. The Animal Farm, it's completely the opposite because we're going after the most in demand and the most utilized product in DeFi, which is yield farming and lending. So that's an easy sell because not only are we going after the most in demand and most utilized product in DeFi, we're also doing it in a way that's a major innovation. And we're doing it off the back of the Mana Farm, which everybody just saw was a major success. I'm having people reach out to me that I never thought I would talk to, saying, and that I didn't even know knew about me, saying, hey, man, congratulations on the Mana Farm, and I can't wait to the Animal Farm. I'm all in. I'm ready to go. People that I used to watch and people that I used to learn from are reaching out to me at this point, saying, congrats, and we're excited about it, and we're ready to go. And that wasn't the case before we launched Drip. Before we launched Drip, we had a lot of success, right? We were the first ones to develop a deflationary reflective token, which is the model that all these meme tokens forked and cloned. So we had success before Drip, but it wasn't until Drip that we were able to grow this massive community and really get the attention of people. And now the Mana Farm just kind of compounded that. So we're going into the Animal Farm, the most bullish, the most connected, with the biggest network, the biggest community, and the best game theory. And we're attacking the most in demand, the most utilized product in crypto. So we're going into this, more positive and more bullish than we've ever gone into anything.
Yeah.
Ever.
Yeah. So honestly, he said a lot. One of the first things he was saying is the odds, to answer the initial question, the odds that the Animal Farm will bring on Drip itself for having Drip being one of the core pools in the staking, that's going to pump Drip and give Drip more eyes on it. But he also went and started talking about the different things that the different utilities and different partnerships that are solely with Drip that are coming out within the next couple months or so. If you watched the first AMA I did with him, he went into a couple of partnerships that were on the horizon for Drip. So that's super, super bullish on Drip as well. Then he also went into how we're kind of breaking into one of the main aspects of the DeFi space, which is yield farming with the Animal Farm. So that thoroughly answered the question about how will the price or how will the Animal Farm affect Drip. Another question that I've seen pop up a couple more times in here. I'll probably just do like one or two more inside this chat and then probably move to the Telegram.
I'll try to answer fast. I can talk, so I'll try to answer.
It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah.
So another question that they had in here, people said, do they have to have BUSD put to the side? Like, is the staking pool going to be dog BUSD? Do they need to have the equal amount of BUSD as they do in PIG and dog, or are there single staking pools for dog and pig?
All right. So here's the way it works. The single staking pool for pig is what you is the governance pool. That's the pool that you stake your pig in to earn
BUSD.
BUSD and have your share vote on the new protocols that come out. That's how you become an owner, by staking your pig. Dogs has the farms, which is dog BUSD and dog BNB, and this has the highest multiplier and the highest payout. Why? Because these provide the most benefit to the platform. Adding liquidity is a step above just staking the token, right? You're adding more utility and you're bringing more benefit to the platform. So the dog BUSD and dog BNB pays out a higher rate of pigs. There is a dog's single asset pool, and it does pay out pigs, but the payout is less, and it's less for the reason I just said, because it provides less value to the system. Now, if you don't have any BUSD, like I had someone come to me yesterday and say, "Hey, I'm 100% in Rev.
Yeah, that's somebody.
I don't
in
have
the
any more
chat.
money. Yeah, I'm 100% in Rev. What should I do?" And I never tell people what to do with their own money, but what I would do if I had all Rev and I was going to get in, contribute my Rev to the pre-sale as I would. That's the obvious play. I would then get my dog and pig tokens. I would stake my pig tokens in the pig's governance pool, and I would stick my dog tokens in the dog single asset pool, and then the BUSD that I earned from pigs, as I'm earning that BUSD, I would be taking my dogs out of the single asset pool, pairing it with this BUSD that I'm earning from the pig pool, and putting it into the dog BUSD pool. So you're earning pigs at a greater rate than you would in the single asset pool. And that's the obvious play to go to leverage your initial position of having just dogs and pigs to get into having dogs, pigs,
and BUSD or BNB.
Yes. Another option is to take your dogs, put it into the single asset pool, put your pigs, put it into the pigs governance pool. Then with the BUSD you're earning from the pigs, put it into the drip liberation contract, which is going to buy drip for you at the best possible price, and it's going to pair the drip for you on PancakeSwap tax-free. So this is your way to get tax-free drip liquidity pool token, or add liquidity to drip tax-free at the best possible price. Then take that drip BUSD and stick that in the drip BUSD pool on the animal farm, and that will allow you to earn pigs as well. And that way you're kind of diversifying across the two main projects in the community: dog and pigs, and drip.
Got it. So he answered that question thoroughly. If anybody has any more questions, to drop them inside the YouTube chat right now. But he also gave you guys kind of strategy that you guys could use. He said you could put the money into the single staking dog pool until it starts to build up profits, then put it into pig and use the profits, that the BUSD profits that you're getting from the pig pool, the pig single staking pool, and then pair it with the dog BUSD pool. So therefore you can enter that pool that is paying out more money. So let me see if there's any more questions.
So
go ahead.
So you would be, so when you stake dogs in the dog pool, in just the dog single asset pool, you're not earning dogs, you're earning pigs. That is allowing you to accumulate more pigs, a greater share ownership, putting those pigs in the pig governance pool, earning more and more BUSD. And then that with that BUSD, you would be taking the dogs that you have in the single asset pool, removing them from there, pairing them with the BUSD, and sticking them in the dog's BUSD pool. Exactly like you just explained. I just wanted to make it clear.
Yeah. So, how long do we have tomorrow to change Rev? That's one question that he said. Go ahead.
It's going to be open all day, right? You're going to have a matter of hours to do it. So it's not like you're going to get caught off guard, but it opens at noon tomorrow EST, right? That's in 22 hours. Be there a good 15 minutes before, or even a good half an hour before, because I'm going to be in the voice chat, right? I'm going to be explaining to everybody how it's going to go. I'm going to be explaining everything to everybody. So be there early and don't procrastinate, because although it's going to be open all day and no one should have any reason to miss it, if you miss it, this is your opportunity. So we're not going to leave it open for days, because
we want to get the project
we're moving forward with it. Yeah, like when you leave it open for long, people procrastinate. When people procrastinate, they outright forget to do it, or they do something else. We're leaving open a window that's big enough that everybody who's been paying attention, that's looking at the countdown, that's there tomorrow, will be able to do it. It's going to be open for hours. So if you're there tomorrow at noon, you got nothing to worry about.
Yeah, just set timers.
Yeah, and make sure you buy your rev before that timer runs out at 12 p.m. EST, because any rev that's bought after the liquidity is removed is not going to be honored on the rev contribution, right? So now is your time to buy rev.
All right, bet. So I'll do this one last question here. I just see one person ask this, but it's a pretty decent question. It says, for the referral program in L2, do we need to do it again, or will the L1 referral work? And how is the referral system going to work, if there's going to be one in the animal farm?
Yeah, so we learned from Drip and we learned from the Mana Farm that having a referral system is one of the most powerful promotional tools you can have. So we do have a referral system. Our referral system is unique in the sense that it's not based on what the person who you refer deposits or what you deposit. It's based on what the person that you refer compounds and what they harvest. So this ensures that for you to earn a referral bonus, the people who you refer
have to be
active in the system. Yeah, they have to be contributing and making money in the system. Not just, you can't just deposit, someone earns a bonus and then they just withdraw and that's it, right? So it's not exploitative, and it's fair. And for someone to get a bonus in the system, it means that they onboarded capital that was a benefit to everybody else in the system as well.
So will they have to do another referral if they did V1?
Yeah. So
okay, so it'll be a whole new referral.
Yeah.
All right.
It'll be because it's on a new site, and the site will be up in the next 48 hours. You're gonna do because we don't want to add any confusion and have both sites up at the same time and act at the same time.
Yeah.
We're gonna have the rev contribution take place on the Mana Farm site tomorrow, and then that will be finished up tomorrow, and then the next day we're gonna make the Animal Farm site live. So that's the way we're gonna do it. And as soon as the site goes live, you'll be able to click the link to make yourself a referral link. And just like if you go on the Mana Farm, there's a little tab on the left that allows you to go to the page to make a referral link and copy it. You'll have that same opportunity in the Animal Farm. So you'll be able to copy your referral link right from the start and share it with everybody. So when it goes live, those people who you shared your link with, it's already active, giving you that credit. Yeah. Exactly.
So
you start making it right away.
Will we have to hold a specific token, like we have to do with Drip, to get the referrals, or
Nope.
Okay.
So this is a unique system. So Drip has the team building protocol, which is extremely positive for Drip, but this project wasn't about building another Drip, right?
Team.
We already have Drip, and Drip is amazing. So this is using a 1-level referral system, but you can get as many referrals as you can possibly get. Like you can shill it and you can make a ton of money off of referrals, because you're making a share of what everybody else earns in the system. But yeah, so that's the way it goes.
Got it. All right, bet. I think that's all the questions that we have inside the YouTube chat right now. I'm going to let all the people that's on YouTube, if they want to hear the rest of the questions, because you had to go on Telegram and answer some questions, right?
Yeah, I see that there's some in people raise your hands if you want a question. I see some people already have their hands raised. So you can click a button in Telegram to raise your hand, and then I can see that you want to talk, and I can unmute you.
Let me do this. I'm gonna end the stream on YouTube and have everybody that's on YouTube come over to the Telegram. If they have any more questions, it'll be more voice chat. So if anybody on
Okay.
YouTube, hopefully this was informative. Everybody was able to get some of their questions answered, if not all of them. If you have any more questions, feel free to go back over to their Telegram. Their Telegram is, if you go on the Mana Farm, or if you go on the Mana.farm and you go towards the bottom of the page, their Telegram will be there, their Twitter will be there. Or if you go to the Drip Twitter account, you can get all the links there as well. So just go on there, hop inside the Telegram if you have any more questions. I appreciate Forex for having me on here and letting me, not having me. I appreciate Forex for coming on here and talking to me, kind of breaking down everything, allowing me to have this live AMA. It's been cool. Hopefully everybody enjoyed it in the YouTube. It's going to keep going on in the Telegram. So like I said, if you have any more questions, feel free to hop over to the Telegram. If not, I highly suggest you do hop over to the Telegram. But that is it for the YouTube live stream. So I will be signing off now. Everybody can migrate over to the Telegram if you'd like to have any more questions answered. All right. Peace.
Yeah, maybe you can post the link in the chat.
Yeah,
right
I'm gonna
now,
post
right?
it right now. I'm just
All
trying to
right,
copy
and
it.
I want to say thank you for having me on. I really appreciate the exposure, and I appreciate that you are giving this information to your viewer base. For everybody that's listening, you have less than 24 hours to get Rev. If you buy Rev right now, the value the Rev is when the contribution takes place will be the value that you get migrated over. So if you spend $200 on Rev right now, and the contribution ends with it being worth $300, you're going to get $360 because the 20% bonus worth of value on L2 that'll be paid to you in the form of BUSD and rewards and price appreciation immediately. And it's your way to get in at the ground floor and at the owner seat of an innovative first moving project in crypto. Look at any project that's a first mover in DeFi. The owners of those protocols make hundreds, if not billions of dollars. And this is your opportunity to have that same financial power, but in a decentralized protocol. And your way to do it is by buying Rev right now and contributing it to the contribution tomorrow at noon EST. So everybody go on PancakeSwap, get your Rev, and we'll see you in the Animal Farm chat. And thank you so much, Hubert, for this opportunity.
No problem at all.
It's amazing, right? It's a major benefit to us, and we appreciate it.
No problem. All right, signing off on YouTube.
All right.